Growing up, Dash always wanted to become a superhero. When little Devakin massacred his village and brutally murdered his parents right in front of him, Dash vowed to one day take revenge and never let what happened to him ever happen to anyone else. His dream might come true after all. After decades of training, Dash now roams the lands in search of the one who took everything away from him.
It was a world of peace.
The Holy Maiden Elaine was part of a legendary crew of 7 heroes assembled to put an end to Lilith Devakin, who had been wreaking havoc and committing massacres. However, after their untimely defeat at the hands of the Hooded Mage, whose identity was unknown to them, the crew was separated and scattered around the world. Elaine now wanders the lands in search for her lost crew.
I'm a boy!
Eleanor Greenleaf is a high elf archer from the Greenleaf family. Despite being centuries old, she never missed a shot. Eleanor vows to put the Greenleaf family in a position of power again after the humans mercilessly slaughtered the majority of her family. When the news of the slaughter broke out, the Greenleaf family lost all respect it had, having been defeated by a single person.
I'm sorry.
Arthur Pendragon roams the lands in search of the legendary Excalibur. It is said for 1,000 men who attempt to wield Excalibur, all will fail. The kid has heart. He'll take his chances.
Hey, long time no see.
Pike is a royal guard in the Vergiless family. His father served Luna Vergiless and died in the Devilkin War when he was still just a little boy. Now Pike has lived up to his father's legacy and is one of the most respected figures in Verhold.
You shall not pass.
Cossack roams the lands in search of his lost brother, Chandler. Before all this, Cossack and his brother used to be on top of the world, destroying anyone and anything standing in their way, and breaking anyone who would dare to stop them. However, everything changed when they encountered Lilith Devilkin. Cossack vows to find his brother and together take their revenge. Chandler roams the lands in search of his lost brother, Cossack. Before all this, Chandler and his brother used to be on top of the world, destroying anyone and anything standing in their way, breaking anyone who dared to stop them. However, everything changed when they encounter Lilith Devilkin. Chandler vows to find his brother and together take their revenge.
You're trying my patience.
Cherry started raiding and pillaging at the early age of 10. When her village contracted a plague, her parents had to send her away so she could survive. Cherry had been taught by her parents her entire life that gold is the only thing that matters in the world, and that their poverty was what ultimately led to their demise. Years later, Cherry returned to his village, only to find ash and rubble in place of what she used to be her home. Devastated, her only motivation left in this world, gold and riches.
The stars makes me dream.
Gregory is a narcissistic, egotistic, and cowardly village chief. When his rule was questioned by his people and his authority was slipping, he brought a plague to his village. At first, he had only wanted to teach his people a lesson. However, the thought of them suffering and being in pain gave him too much pleasure, so he decided against contracting a plague doctor like he had originally intended, and ran away instead. While running away, he bumped into a goblin with a crossbow.
Pure garbage.
Guinerva was a student in the School of Wizardry, until she noticed one day that Merlin, a legendary mage in the School of Wizardry, had left the school. After finding out his reasons, Gwen decided to leave the school as well to find what Merlin set out to find before he does.
Can you prove yourself worthy?
Frederick is conceited, egocentric, and a spineless miner in the Miners' Guild. He has been plotting a coup for many years and plans to overthrow the current leader.
I'm not going to bother to help.
Hank hasn't been much of a fighter his entire life. He only wanted to live a simple life. One day, Hank was forced to take up arms in order to defend his village against the humans. However, before the humans even came, Hank defected and fled from the village, with only a crossbow to fend for himself.
Hold the line!
Tristan Bittersteel is a knight of honor, always standing up for the innocent. He will no longer stand for the living in this justice-deprived world. Uncorrupted by power and greed, Tristan sets out to put an end to injustice and suffering in this world.
Why the hell would you do that, man?
Job Blackforge never wanted to hold to the hammer. However, he had to assume the duties of being born into the Blackforge family. As a legendary family that saw the birth of many renowned blacksmiths, many great swords were forged under the Blackforge name. In order to uphold his family name and make his father proud, Job undertook smithing as the next in line to inherit the Blackforge ancestral hammer. Crisis, he may one day forge the greatest weapon of all time.
Anybody here?
Paul Monroe is a trained martial arts and skilled hand-to-hand combatant. Also, a master of the art of pickpocketing and escapology. He thought that may be of use to him someday. Paul roams the lands to locate potential groups in order to establish the greatest network the world has ever seen.